Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video, and today I am excited because this is the last round, or the last match of round 3. So we are finally finishing round 3, meaning that after this episode we are into round 4, and we only have four more matches of round 4, then 2 of the semi-finales, and then we got the bronze match, and then the finales. So we are it's getting close, and I'm so excited. So I just want to plow through these videos. The views on them aren't great. I'm getting not even 50 views on some of these videos, but whatever. I'm determined to finish it. I'm like really OCD. I don't want to like not finish this just because it's not getting views. And there's like 3 or 4 of you who are enjoying it, so that will do. That's enough motivation for me. So today we are doing Destination Springfield versus Itchy and Scratchy Land. So this is going to be a interesting one. Both events I love a lot. I have a special place in my heart for Destination Springfield, but Itchy and Scratchy Land, I can't deny, solved the Krusty Land issue and was a great update in itself too. So let's start off with talking about both events. So we'll start off with the oldest of the events, which I believe is Destination Springfield. Am I correct? Yes, I am correct. 2017. So starting off with Destination Springfield. So what was Destination Springfield like in terms of the structure and theme? Obviously 5 points to be won, you know the deal. Destination Springfield in terms of its theme was pretty much just around the world. So we had 3 different acts where we got French stuff in the first act, in the second act we got Japanese stuff, and in the third act we got Brazilian stuff. So, you know, very simple theme. Travel episodes, there's a lot of them, and there was 3 particular episodes that they focused on. I thought the theme was very good, obviously. I love the theme. Now, they had a character called Norbert Van Houten, who is Milhouse's uncle, I believe, and he sort of led the event, and he had his own little mini quest there too, which I thought was great. Obviously, you had the airport that you could place, and with that, you could send characters to the airport. I really loved that interaction. I just found it's really awesome. That interaction was so cool, where it had like the different locations that they were going to. They added there was a lot of crafting where you could get different decorations. So, you know, crafting. Say what you'll about it, but I do sort of miss it. And yeah, the Norbert Van Houten, the Osaka flu as well. There was the Osaka flu that you could send to different people's towns as well. So lots of awesome interaction with this one. Not as much as like some other events, you know, there was no mini game or anything like that, but certainly there was a lot of interaction in this one, so I gotta give it huge props. I really enjoyed the theme, and I really enjoyed the structure of this one. I remember the game feeling so dead, and this update came along, and it just revitalized all my hope in the game. So I just have a lot of love for Destination Springfield. Moving on, we have Itchy and Scratchy Land. So Itchy and Scratchy Land, how was that structured? Well, for a starter, the theme. The theme is, of course, Itchy and Scratchy Land, mostly based around that one particular episode, as well as characters from sort of Krusty and Itchy and Scratchy, the sort of wider, you know, Itchy and Scratchy, Krusty universe. So it gave us a lot of stuff from those episodes. Obviously, that was the theme. The structure is obviously 3 acts, quite simple. There was no particular way of distinguishing the 3 acts. It was just sort of 3 different acts. We had the rides that you could upgrade for. So there was the different rides. You had the log ride, the injury 500, and the Zoominator, and you could obviously upgrade them, and you get the different tracks for them, so you can build them up. I really liked that. I thought it was a cool thing. Bit tedious at times, but I think in terms of the execution, but overall, I did enjoy it a lot. You obviously had the crafting, of course, so you craft different items. There was a lot of stuff that was added into the store, and then obviously the big thing, which is that this is the update that finally got rid of Krusty Land and brought all of the Krusty Land stuff into Springfield. Now, I'm not going to count them for all of the Krusty Land stuff. I don't think it's fair to count this update for that. This update didn't bring the Krusty Land stuff. Krusty Land brought that stuff. But this update did sort of solve the Krusty Land issue, and for that I'm going to give it some credit. I don't want to give it tons of credit for the actual Krusty Land stuff, but just for fixing that issue, that is a big thing. So which one do I think gets the point? I hate this one. I know I say this a lot, but I really do hate this one because it's really tricky. In terms of theme, I just love Destination Springfield. I just thought it was a great theme, and for me anyway, it brought a lot of love, a lot of life. Itchy and Scratchland has got a great theme too. I can't deny that, but in terms of which theme I preferred, I really like the travel episodes. I'm like one Simpsons fan who is probably in a massive disagreement. I actually really like the travel episodes of The Simpsons. It's just me, but a lot of the ones that people hate, I don't mind. So maybe that's just me, but yeah, I don't mind the travel update. I thought it was really cool. In terms of structure, I probably would also go with Destination Springfield, but the fact that Itchy and Scratchland brought Krusty Land in is a big factor. However, I don't think it's enough. As much as I feel like it does deserve some sort of praise for that, I'm going to have to go with Destination Springfield. I just found the structure way better. I found the theme way better. And again, might be my biasness, but you also had the whole Norbert Van Houten thing as well. That's something else I probably should harp on a bit more. The Norbert Van Houten, the way that he led that event, the way that like he sort of structured around him, I think that did a lot of good things as well. And all those reasons are why I'm giving it to Destination Springfield. So, moving on, we shall go to characters. So, let's start it off. We're going to be doing either a point, 2 points, or no point. Obviously, it's normally what I do for characters. Obviously, next round, when we get to round 4, I am changing it. But for now, we're just going to stick with this. Just for this episode anyway, we're going to stick with the normal rating system. So, let's start off with Destination Springfield. So what characters did we get? So we got Maurice the donkey, and Caesar and Ogolin. Now, I actually really liked Maurice, I liked Caesar, and I liked Ogolin. I can't not give them all points. I know Maurice is an NPC, and it's like, well, why are you giving it? Because NPCs are different. It's hard to like compare an NPC to a character, so I just give them points. But I think Caesar and Ogolin get a separate point each because they're both great characters and their inclusions made a lot of sense. We have Oscar, the seafood concerned squid. I think this one probably should have been an NPC. This is the one sort of complaint I have about Destination Springfield, is it really started a trend of giving us characters who really should be NPCs. And Oscar the seafood concerned squid is definitely one of them. I like him. Should have been an NPC. I think the tasks aren't amazing. I'm going to give a half point though. I think that's fair. Sakatumi. Lots of people said, like, I think it was Spring King who said, why did you give a point to him? I think he's great. Maybe that's just me. I just really liked him. I think he's funny. Mr. Sparkle, I don't care. I think I was so glad that they added that as a character. I think I wouldn't have said so myself to do that, but I think it works. The Battle Caesar Robot, I think that's a great NPC, so I'll give that one a point. Vicious Monkeys do not get a point. I don't care. They wouldn't be a great NPC, and they're not a great full playable character. Tiago, I mean, I like him too. I think he's cool. Ronaldo, I quite like too. And what's her name? Oxchilter. Should I give her a point? I don't remember if I gave her a point last episode. I don't really keep track of these things. I'll round off the half point, so yeah. And then we have Norbert Van Houten. That guy gets 2 points because of how he led the event. And then the tourists, I'm pretty sure were the takedown, right? So I'm not going to bother with tourists. They wouldn't get a point anyway, but they're takedown. And then Sailor Kamiko, I can't give a point to. It was fine as a costume, but it's nothing amazing, so I don't feel great giving that one a point. So that means Destination Springfield finishes with 11 points. Norbert Van Houten clutched it with the 2. So, moving on, let's go to the Itchy and Scratchy land. So, what characters do we have? So we have Itchy for a starter, and Itchy gets 2 points. Although he didn't really lead the event as much as I wanted him to, I still think Itchy is a great character to get, and he was free, so I've got to give huge props to that. Diane, And I'm just going to say this right here. Diane and Jeremy, I feel like are the same character. So I'm going to give 1 point, but for both of them. So Diane, she gets 1 point, but also Jeremy does as well. Boar, I actually like the fact they added Boar. I don't care. He gets a point. Corporal Punishment, definitely gets a point. I just love him. The Park Engineer, yeah, I liked his inclusion. He's fine. Ms. Mouse, I like a lot. June Bellamy, I think it's great. Tina Ballerina is great. We're going to obviously skip over Ronald Reagan and J. Edgar Hoover. Those two are 4th of July characters. Scratchy, I can only give 1 point to. As much as I want to give him 2, I can't because he's premium and he comes with a really crappy building. And I just hate to do it, but I don't understand why they made him premium. Like, if you're going to give us Itchy, you got to give us Scratchy. So they really should have given them both for free. But I'll give him 1 point. I still think he's cool and all. Moss Buckler does not get a point at all. The squeaky voiced attendant doesn't get a point either. I don't like that skin. I think it's quite boring and bland. And then you have all the parade stuff. So you have the parade roller, the parade axe, the parade train. I like these a lot. Enough to give a point, not enough to give 2. And that puts us at a tie. I'm going to break the tie, though, and give the NPCs that we got in Itchy and Scratchy Land an extra half point. So that takes us over to 11.5. Just about Itchy and Scratchy Land takes the point for characters. I think that's fair. Destination Springfield is not that strong on characters. I do think Itchy and Scratchy Land is a little bit stronger. Those NPCs, they're really hard to judge because they're all like very similar, and I don't want to give them all a point each. I don't think that's fair. But I think 2 points probably would have been fair. Yeah, I feel quite confident giving Itchy and Scratchy Land that win. So yeah, let's move on to buildings. So let's start off with, of course, Destination Springfield. So for a starter, we have the Springfield Airport. I have to give that one a point. I love that a lot. I would give it 2, but I don't think it's cool enough to give it 2, so I can't. The Tourist Information Center, I'm not going to give a point. The Reward Center, I actually like the Reward Center a little bit, so I'll give it a point. Actually, the Tourist Information Center, I think it's fair to give the Tourist Information Center and the Reward Center a point for both of them, right? So 1 point for each for both of them combined, because they are like buildings that we use for the event, so crafting and things like that. So I think giving them a point as one, like together, is fair. Then we have the Eiffel Tower. I love the Eiffel Tower. Bastille, I love Bastille. The Paris Hotel definitely gets a point. The Chateau Manchon gets a point too. Le Krusty Burger gets 1. Then you go to the Japanese stuff. The KTV building, I like. The Sumo Stadium is a little hard to decorate. I've said this in the past, so I'm not going to give that one a point. America Town, I like. The Himeji Castle is awesome. The Royal Tokyo is great. And then we have Bara. Do I give one to Bara? It's a bit ugly. It's a bit bland. I'll skip Bara. Samba School, I'll give a point to. The Tree Steakhouse, I love this building. Churras, that one. That one gets a point. The Filthy Angels Orphanage definitely gets a point. And then Rio Days in Aero, that one gets a point too. I'm not sure if I count the Chocolate Chapel or not. I said this in the past, so I'll just leave that one for now. And then you have the Chateau Manchon Restored Skin. And I actually really like this skin being included, so I'm actually going to give that a point. But if you are not happy with that getting a whole point, let's say I gave it to the chapel. So, moving on. So, sorry, before I move on, that concludes Destination Springfield with a total of 17 points. So that's a lot. Moving on to Itchy and Scratchy Land. So we have the Krusty Land entrance. Can't give this one a point because technically it's been added from Krusty Land and arguably maybe should be a decoration, although it is ticket administration, so I guess it kind of makes sense. But I'm not going to count it because it technically is brought over from Krusty Land. The Nurses Station gets a point. The Childcare Centre gets a point. TGI McScratchies definitely gets a point. Roger Meyer's Story gets a point. Soaring Over Springfield. Yeah, I'll give that one a point. The Itchy Minefield, arguably shouldn't be a building, but technically, because it's a fairground ride, I'm going to give it a pass and give it a point. Nickel and Dime Animation definitely gets a point. The Cartoon Motel, I actually really love this one, so I'm tempted to give it 2, but it was premium, so I'll just give it 1, but I'm close. The UPA Talent Agency definitely gets a point. Itchy's 70s Disco, love that one a lot, so that one gets a point. And then obviously, skipping over the Re-Education Centre, we have the Cartoon Set. I can't give this one a point. A, it's very expensive, 300 donuts for this and Scratchy, and B, this should not be a building. It's a crappy set interior. I'm normally not, I just hate these. They're impossible to decorate and they don't look great in your town. Meaning that Itchy and Scratchy ends with a total of 20. Not bad, but not 20. Sorry, a total of 10. Oh god, I can't count. Total of 10, meaning not bad, but not good enough to beat Destination Springfield. So for the buildings, Destination Springfield wins. So moving on to decorations. I hate doing decorations because it's so difficult to give things points. So we're just going to go off what's good, what's bad, what's helpful. So if I find, this is something I'm going to implement, but I may as well implement it now. So if it's a good decoration, but not particularly helpful in the wider scheme. So say, for example, a fence, right? A fence can be very helpful for multiple decorations. So if it's a fence, and I find it a very particularly useful fence, I'm going to give 2 points. If it's just a normal sort of cool decoration, though, I'm just going to give it 1 point. And if it's a bad, crappy decoration that I find difficult to place anywhere, then it gets no points. So that's how we're going to do it. And things that are very similar, so for example, coming up in Destination Springfield, we have the runway tracks. Things are similar, I'm just going to combine as 1 point or 2 points, depending on how useful they are. So for a starter, we have the runway light. I like the runway light. I think it's great for designing your airport, so that gets 1 point. The vending machine, I think looks awesome, and definitely can be placed in several places. So for that reason, I'm tempted to give 2, but I'm not, because honestly I don't think I've used it that much. The gold train, I actually like this one a lot, and if it was a cool little prize to get, so I'll give that one a point. The globe, I like, even though it's a giant globe, I just think it's cool that they added that. The black leather plane is awesome. The runways get 2 points for both of them, because I really enjoyed building up the airport. I think it's a shame that we haven't got the airport re-added in later updates. I can't blame this update for that, but I just really love building the airport. So yeah, I'm definitely going to give 2 points for both the runway tracks. Then we have the terminal. That one gets a point. The hangar gets a point. The separate plane, I will also give a point to. The lifeguard tower definitely gets a point as well. And the plane bar is a coolish decoration. So yeah, I'll give it 1. I'll be fair. Then we have France, the French stuff. The bicycle with the basket gets a point. The wine barrels get a point. The French fountain gets a point. The scooter and the motorcycle with a sidecar definitely both get I'll probably give 1 point for both of them. You have the Bourlangi Paris, that building. That should be a building, and for that I'm not giving a point. Why is that not a building? The Lavender Field gets a point. The Venus de Milo gets a point. The Arch de Triomphe definitely gets a point. Tempted to give 2. Nah, I won't though. The Pont de Garde gets a point. The Great Stomping Vat gets a point as well. I just think all these are great. Mount Fuji gets 2 points because I actually think this one's awesome. Hokura, I can't say it. That one gets a point. The Japanese cherry tree, I love this tree so much, so it gets 2 points. The Japanese lantern gets a point. The Japanese maple tree gets 2 points again, because I think this one's really useful. The Tori gets 1 point. The Shinto shrine, I find it very difficult to place. I'm not going to give a point to it. And then we have the Pagonda, I can't say it. That one gets a point too. Then we have Brazil. The painted house. So for all the painted houses, I'm just going to give 2 points because I think they're helpful, they're useful, they're easy to decorate, but obviously they're very similar. So 2 points for all of them. The Santa Teresa tram, I don't really like this one because it's difficult to place. The thing is, with the golden train, it's a golden train, so it's like, obviously it's not going to be on the train track, so I don't have too much issue placing that. But with this, I feel like I need a track to place it on, so that's why I'm not going to give a point. The Brazil wood tree, though, definitely gets a point. It's a great one. Not particularly one I've used a lot, a tree I've used a lot, but certainly a good tree. The unlicensed taxi, love the unlicensed taxi, so I'm actually going to give 2 points because placing taxis around makes the town just feel so much better because you can place like little taxis. I wish I got more of these taxis when this update came out, because if I had more, I would have placed more. So I think they are just a really useful decoration, because obviously if you're going to have a town, there's going to be a bunch of taxis around. So yeah, I don't know. I really like the taxis. The street soccer court, I don't think it's particularly that easy to like decorate, so I'm not going to give that one a point. The try and stop us billboard, sure, I'll give it 1 point. The carnival float gets a point as well. And the Sugarloaf Mountain, yeah, that gets a point. I love that little thing. And then finally, Norbert's Plane. Got to give that one a point, of course, because it's just a part of Norbert. We have to have it. Meaning that in total, Destination Springfield's decorations end at a total of, let me just count, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 40 points. Holy shit, I think that's the biggest amount of points anything's ever got. So, any updates ever got. So, Destination Springfield, in terms of decorations, is pretty hard to beat, but who knows what will happen. Let's do Itchy and Scratchy Land. So, we have the Sideshow Mel corner and the Itchy and Scratchy corner. Again, can't count these. They came from Krusty Land, so sorry. The crosswalk was technically a part of the Pride update, so I can't count that either. The Krusty Land wall, despite it technically being a part of the Krusty Land, they chucked in. I actually really think this one's useful, so I'll give it 1 point. The reason why I'm not giving it 2 is just because technically it comes from Krusty Land, although you couldn't use them, I know, but it's like that's the main reason. I know I'm being like really nitpicky. The tree shrubs, I'll give them all a point. Again, same point, but I'll give like a point for all three of them. The Krusty Land turnstile, again, same thing as the fence, the wall even, but I have to give a point to it. It's really useful. On the highway, again, same thing. They were in the other thing, but you couldn't actually move them, and they added them so you could actually place them and all that. I love the highway so much, and for that reason, I'm giving 2 points for both highways. The large parking lot gets a point. I like that one a lot. Itchy and Scratchy Land Gate has definitely got a point. And then we have the Injury 500. I find them a little tedious to build, I am not going to lie, but I like the fact that you can build it and customize it. So I'm going to give a point for just all three. The Itchy and Scratchy Land helicopter gets a point. The Roger Myers Senior statue gets a point. The log ride is the same deal, but I actually really like the log ride one, so I'm going to give 2 points for that. The parade roller station and the parade train station, I think as decorations, I'm just going to give 1 point. Obviously, they're there for the street roller and all that, the street parade, but I can't give. They're like the same thing, just slightly different, and for that reason, I can't give them 1 each. I'm just going to give them 1 for both. And then you have the Zoominator stuff. I think the Zoominator was a bit tedious and a bit annoying to build, so I'm just going to give 1 point for all the things, for all the parts. Then you have the Parents Island Gate, gets a point. The Injury, there's another short track, so ignore that. The Itchy and Scratchy Land banner gets a point. The Itchy and Scratchy Land ticket booth gets a point. We have more parking lots, so I'm just going to give 1 point for the parking lots. Oh no, there was all the loops as well. I forgot about the loops. And the plunge and the loops. Maybe I was a bit too harsh. I forgot how many parts there were to this. I'll give 1 more point just to be nice. And then you have the roller coaster weirdos. I can't be arsed with crowds. You know my opinions on crowds. And even if I gave like an extra 2, let's just give an extra 2 points for all the Zoominator and the log ride and all that parts. It doesn't make a difference because 5, 10, 15, 20. Even if I gave a bunch of extra points like 21, 22, it's not going to beat Itchy. It's not beating Destination Springfield. It's just got Destination Springfield has so many decorations. So, oh god, what am I doing? So obviously that point goes to Destination Springfield. Itchy and Scratchy Land has unfortunately lost. In terms of the update I look back on more fondly, this one is really tricky because I really love the fact that Itchy and Scratchy Land, like I said, did the whole Krusty Land thing, but that's like the only thing that I look back at sort of a lot. And like I said before, this is my biased opinion, but Destination Springfield came at a time where the game was at a real low point, so I just love that update a lot, so I've got to give that one to Destination Springfield as well. So Itchy and Scratchy Land definitely beat it on characters, but I can't let it beat it on buildings, and it's definitely not beating it on decorations, so unfortunately that is it, and Itchy and Scratchy Land has been knocked out, and Destination Springfield goes on to the next round. So, tune in next week, or next episode, I should say, where we'll be doing Tap Ball versus Simpsons Christmas Special. Like I said, I'm going to be redoing the point system. There's going to be a separate point system, so I hope you enjoy. It's going to be out of 5 for characters, and it's going to be out of 3 for buildings. And then decorations, I'm pretty much doing that whole thing. So if it's an amazing decoration, like a sort of, it looks great, then it gets 2 points. If it's like a fence or a road and it's very useful, it gets 2 points. And then anything in between gets 1 point or no points. That's the fairest way I can do decorations, because I feel like a lot of these rounds are going to be getting down to like the decoration point, and yeah, it's going to be scary. So these are our round 4 competitors: Tap Ball versus Simpsons Christmas Special. Then we have Simpsons Jobs versus Homerpalooza, Mozark versus Secret Agents, and Burns Casino versus Destination Springfield. All these events I think are great, apart from like one that I don't think probably should deserve to be up here, but we'll talk about that when we get to that particular episode. There's one that I don't think deserves to be up here, but I'm actually quite happy with the results of this thus far. I think they're all very strong events. So yeah, this is going to be great. And we're going to eventually get to the semi-finales, which I have a few predictions, but we'll have to see. I'm very curious to see who wins, because a lot of these updates have their strengths, and a lot of them have like certain weaknesses. So it's going to be interesting. So anyway, like I said, tune in next week tune in next episode. And anyway, I'll see you next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.